my video for Christmas 2016, I'm going to do a bit of a biblical reading for you. I'm going to take you all the way back to the Old Testament, to Genesis 19. I've been thinking a lot this year about religion and how it continues to manifest itself in homophobic arguments and hate speech. So I decided to look at Christianity because that's the background I'm from, and I've gone straight to the story of Sodom and Gomorrah because that really is part of what lies at the heart of Christians who oppose homosexuality. Genesis 19 is seen as one of the key indicators in the Bible of God opposing same-sex relationships. Or is it? There are so many other factors within Sodom and Gomorrah that I'm sure if you don't already know will shock you to the core. I would like to question why the Christians who oppose same-sex marriage on the basis of their religious beliefs are not also speaking out in favour of many of the things condoned by the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. So let me whiz through this story for you as quickly as I can. So Sodom was a city and it was deemed to be overspilling with sin. Lots of wicked and evil things were going on, one of which the Bible states was men were turning to men and having relations with men. So men were having sex with men. So from this it's been assumed that God is against homosexuality. You could, however, argue that he's simply against promiscuous sex and sex outside of marriage. That is how a lot of Christians perceive this story. But there was one good man in the city called Lot, and Lot and his family God wanted to save, so he sent some angels down to protect them. Men in the city of Sodom heard that these angels were guarding Lot and his family, and they came to Lot's house and started banging on the door, and they said, bring out the angels so that we can know them better, meaning we want to have sex with these angels, bring them out. So fair enough, Lot wants to protect the angels, you can understand that. So to protect the angels, Lot says, look, I have 2 daughters who have never slept with a man. Let me bring them out to you instead, and you can do whatever you like with them. Issue number 1, sexism, misogyny, and condoning rape. But the men were still not happy with this because they wanted the angels. When the men started to get aggressive, the angels intervened and used their magical powers and blinded the men. You could argue that's issue number 2. Of course, defend yourself. They had every right to use violence, but blinding them might be seen as a bit full on, I'm not sure. So then the angels protected Lot and his family and told them to leave the city immediately and never look back. God at this stage was going to burn the city to the ground, so they had to leave the city. God was happy that Lot had tried to protect the angels, and the Lord spoke to Lot and said, run, you must flee the city and never look back. Poor Lot's having an awful evening. He's trying to get everyone together, trying to save his family, trying to get them out of the city. His son-in-laws don't believe him, so they get left behind, but his 2 daughters and his wife go with him. So the Lord then proceeded to rain down burning sulphur on the 2 cities, Sodom and Gomorrah. But remember that God said not to look back. That was a key to Lot getting away. He said, Lot, leave, but do not look back. Unfortunately, Lot's wife looked back and she was turned into a pillar of salt. Issue number 3. Don't turn people into pillars of salt. It's not nice. Anyway, long story short, Lot and his 2 daughters are left alone as the only survivors. There's no other people around. They are the only people remaining in the land. So they go to live in a cave and try to survive. And the daughter says, and I quote from the Bible, our father is old and there is no man around here to give us children, as is the custom all over the earth. Let's get our father to drink wine and then sleep with him and preserve our family line through our father. Issue number 4, incest. And then it says, and I quote, that night they got their father to drink wine, and the older daughter went in and slept with him. He was not aware of it when she lay down or when she got up. Issue number 5, incestual rape. And then, because apparently that wasn't enough, the next day the older daughter said to the younger one, last night I slept with my father. Let's get him to drink wine again tonight, and you go in and sleep with him so we can preserve our family line through our father. So they got their father to drink wine that night also, and the younger daughter then went and slept with him. Again, he was not aware of it when she lay down or when she got up. Issue number 6. A repeat of issue number 5. So both of Lot's daughters got pregnant by their father and as a result of this bore 2 sons. I'm not quite sure how this worked out later down the line because there's only 2 sons and goodness knows what kind of incestual things had to happen for the line to keep on going. So people will shudder at that story. Most people probably stop listening to it halfway through because they think I'm a nutter. That is biblical. So when you go to church and when you preach homophobia, when you speak up and stand up for Christians, this is the kind of morality, this is the kind of story you are defending. Do I believe Sodom and Gomorrah is about God's condemnation of homosexuality? No. I believe, unfortunately, that the bulk of the Old Testament stories like this construct God as a complete evil monster in the sky who's so far from anything human. Now, I'm not saying that all Christians condone this story or believe in it in any capacity. People will say it's outdated, it's taken out of context, it was a different time, it's a different era, yada yada yada. Yes, absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more. So why not think the same about homosexuality? If you believe that that story represents God's condemnation of homosexuality, then I expect you to be standing up and speaking in favour of rape and incest as well. Harsh though it may be. So think about it. Next time someone opposes homosexuality on religious grounds, just remember the kind of stories that they are upholding and believing in. And really what it all whittles down to when you deconstruct it all and look at the basic facts of the situation is that religion under premises such as this is completely round the twist, unfortunately. And I do believe in merits of religion. I think it can be a real positive force in society, but unfortunately as a gay person I tend to see mainly its negatives. I'm not saying there's no God, I'm not saying all religion's rubbish, I'm just saying that when you look at the premise of some of these religions and the texts they're built upon, they are incredibly damaging and also deeply concerning. So that was my Christmas cheer for you. Highly cheerful as always. I hope you all have a fantastic Christmas and that 2017 brings you everything you want. If you're feeling alone and going through a difficult time, drop me an email and I will give you some festive cheer, or I'll try my best to anyway. Thank you for all your support with my channel this year. Keep marching forward boldly. Peace.